What it do, baby? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my unapologetic perspective. This is the podcast where we give our point of view of controversial topics from our experience, Black history, and our knowledge as African Americans. Black history presently lives in us, so we can continue to excel into the future. It's one thing to know Black history; it's another thing to take advantage of what the people in Black history did for you. In the words of Malcolm X, there will come a time where Black people will wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves as other people are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves. And we are at that time where we are awake to everything that's around us and we question everything that's around us. But I am your host, Martre Baker Stevens, and to the right of me is Shaquan Battle.
Hello.
And to the right of him is Jerome Battle.
What's up?
We appreciate all the love and support that we've been getting. Shout out to Stephanie Brawley, who normally sends me Black history stuff, some things that I may have never seen before. That's the type of energy we need. We need to continue to inform each other on things that in Black history that we may have not heard, or extra information on stories that we have heard before, to be able to educate ourselves and begin to understand Black history from a bigger perspective. How are y'all?
Good.
Y'all good?
Yeah, I'm good.
We're gonna jump right in today. So today is gonna be a little bit different, right?
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. So it's a day, where we can kind of, just have a little bit fun with Black history, have a little fun about our perspective and our intellect as Black people. But it's also important because even in the funniness of some of the things that we're going to be talking about, there's a meaning behind a lot of it, right? There are a lot of things that Black parents do and say that is universal, right? So if you get on Instagram, you get on TikTok, you get on Facebook, the hashtag Black parents be like, and the comments is spot on because we understand each other, because a lot of those things are said universally in Black households. We can relate to it. It's the same thing that's been said in our household, right? But it's also important to talk about from a Black history standpoint. Black parents are usually authoritative. They have their authoritarian type style parenting. And I believe a lot of it comes from Black history. A lot of it comes from our time here in America, from slavery, where you will want to discipline your kids before the slave master discipline your kids. You will want to inform your kids about certain unwritten rules before white America caught you breaking those unwritten rules. So it comes off as harsh sometimes. It comes off as funny sometimes. But it's training for when Black kids have to step into the real world and see that harshness from a grand scheme of a perspective, or from America's standpoint. But let's jump in, man. Let's jump in. We talked about some serious Black parenting sayings and Black parent things on this podcast before. But one of them, of course, is, be home before the street light comes on, right? Mm-hmm. That's something that was serious that, you hear Black parents say even to this day. And a lot of people don't understand that they came from, white supremacists catching Black people outside when the street lights was on, and you would be terrorized, beat, or even lynched. So that quote right there from Black parents is something that it sounds funny. It's principle based in the Black household today, but it comes from, again, that Black history in America of understanding the times and understanding those things, right?
It was also for you to prepare for dinner, get ready for the next day. But the stand your ground laws now is now used for home before the street lights come on,
right?
Especially in Florida, because like you look at the Trayvon Martin situation. If he would have been home before dark, maybe he would still be alive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is always that concept that if you out that late, you're up to no good, no way.
Right.
Or if you're out that late, something can happen to you.
Yeah, and that's what Zimmerman said. He looked like he's up to no good.
Right. And that's the stereotypical way that especially a lot of Black kids are looked at, in America, that being out at those types of night, at that time of night, is looked at as criminal activity, criminal behavior. So being home before the street lights come on is a time where kids will go home to avoid that discipline from their parents. Don't wear your hood. We've created wearing your hood in black culture, black fashion as being something popular, right? You see a lot of people wearing their hood. You see a lot of white kids wearing their hood, athletes especially, when it comes to people like Carmelo Anthony who, popularized wearing his hood while playing basketball, warming up. You see the kids now, even the warm-ups have hoods on them, so you can have the hoods on when you warm up. We popularized that in fashion and culture. But for black kids, that's also a way for you to be profiled, right? Because if you look at the history of wearing a hood, is to basically
hide
your identity, right?
Created by who?
KKK.
But you're likely to be, prejudged. You're likely to be followed. You're likely to be accused, especially if you're in a store and you got your hood on. Workers become high alert. For your kids, it may just be a fashion statement, but parents will tell you to take your hood off, not because they don't care about the fashion statement. It's just the fact that I don't want nobody following us in the store. Right. I don't want nobody to look at you like you're a criminal or like you're about to steal something. And again, you talked about the Trayvon Martin situation. If you're in a neighborhood that you're not from wearing a hood, a lot of people are going to look at you like you're up to no good. And that's what happened to Trayvon Martin. He was wearing his hood probably as a fashion statement. And George Zimmerman prejudged him as he was involved in criminal activity, based off of wearing a hood.
His hood was the ultimate cause of his death.
Yeah.
I think it's twofold, though. I don't think it was just the hood. I think it was also because he was black. So I think it was being black and wearing a hood.
Being black and wearing a hood.
I think if he was white wearing a hood, I don't think it would have been a problem.
And beating George Zimmerman's ass.
Yeah.
It's crazy how you could wear something and got to change the way you wear it so you don't get killed. We're talking about something simple as a jacket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But those are just those unwritten rules, like keep your hands out of your pockets. Yeah. If you're in the store, make sure your hands is out of your pockets. You don't want to give anybody a reason to assume that you want to steal or have stolen something or put something in your pocket. We've talked about on this podcast the talk that black parents have to give their kids whenever you're dealing with police. And one of those things is keep your hands out of your pockets. Don't reach for nothing. You don't want to make any sudden movements that's going to trigger the officer to make him have to pull a trigger on you. That's right. You know what I mean? You don't want to have to do that. So black parents have been forward about having that talk with their kids about getting pulled over when police encounter you so you don't get harmed. Some people tell you, if you go into a store, always get a receipt, that way, if anybody try to accuse you of stealing something, there you got the receipt. Right. And we even know from being in prison for things that we didn't commit, if you can get that receipt as an alibi, right. it's a date and time on that receipt that you purchased this. There's no way I could have committed this crime because I was 10 miles away at this store purchasing this. Those are things like, I know it sounds funny when we talk about this, but this is the things that black parents have to tell their kids, because those unwritten rules or things that have happened in black history that we have to begin to adjust to.
Menace to Society, you said you bought the bottle of beer at 11:35.
Yeah. I remember the 3 rules I would tell you guys: don't steal nothing, don't sell nothing, don't smoke nothing.
Yeah.
That was important. So
well, it's crazy. You got it. And the white parents don't have to teach their kids this to speak in short sentences, be clear, be direct, not rude, stay calm. Even because 9 times out of 10, when you pull a teen over, they're going to be shaken. Yeah. And in that situation, you got to remain calm. Never put your hands in your pockets. Make sure people can always see your hands, and all of that just to make it back home
Yeah.
safely.
I think I said on podcasts a few times before, I used to think the hardest thing to do is be a black man in America. I was wrong. The hardest thing to be is a black man in America with kids and trying to teach them to be proud to be black, stand up for themselves, but come home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to do all those things as a black man in America, because you want your kids to stand up for injustice. You want your kids to be strong individuals. You want that. But you want them to come home at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
How do you teach them to do that? You know?
Yeah. So even when you're getting pulled over by police, especially for black teenagers, you know, most people have their license in their wallet, and you put your license in your wallet, and your wallet goes in your back pocket most of the time, right? And you get pulled over by police, and they want to see your driver's license. You got to reach in your back pocket to get your wallet out. So one of the things that you can do is, when you're in your car, before the officer gets up there to you, have your license ready, have your registration ready, have that already on your lap. That way, when he gets up there or she gets up there, you don't have to reach for nothing. It's already right there. So if they get to your window and you got to reach for this, or you got to reach in the glove compartment, you know, those are those things that triggers them, that can ultimately trigger you. You know, get you triggered. So we want to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, it was probably like 5 years ago. I was in South Boston and got pulled over in the Centos truck, and he came up to the window. He was like, "Can I see your license?" And I was like, "Well, you're gonna have to come around to this side of the door because my license is in the back." Not knowing what I was putting myself in that situation where he couldn't see me, but I was really just getting my license. That could have went totally left field.
Yeah.
If you wasn't aware.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you were aware to mention that to him, because, that could be. The other thing is, people, I don't know if they forget, but most people who carry guns put them in the glove compartment. And so you get pulled over by the cops, your registration's in there. Even if you tell the cop that you have a gun in the glove compartment, it's going to be a scary situation. Yeah. So even if you warn them ahead of time. But if you don't, and you open that glove compartment to get your registration and there's a gun, it's going to be just as bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, the quick answer is don't have the gun in the glove compartment, right?
Yeah.
But, of course, there are going to be people that are going to carry guns and they're going to put them in the glove compartment. That could go south really quick.
Yeah.
All right, so for younger people that's watching this, and even older people, if you're carrying a gun in a car, where should you have it?
Well, I'm gonna speak freely on this one. I'm not gonna apologize. If you're a young person, what the hell do you have a gun for? Yeah. Would be my first question. Right. That's my first question.
Well, before you go,
you talking about registered?
Registered.
Okay,
yeah, registered.
So old enough to have a registered.
Yeah, but what the young kids would tell you is nowadays they feel like they would need one, because now, like I said, us growing up, it was fighting. This generation is really killing itself.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that on another podcast in depth, but we could talk about where they should keep it in the trunk. If you're going to keep it somewhere, I don't know, but I just don't know why you need a gun and why you're riding around with the gun in the car. I just don't know the purpose.
If you're going to have it in the glove compartment, don't have the registration in the glove compartment. I have that in the arm hold or whatever the case may be. Have it somewhere else to where if you get pulled over, you don't have to go in the glove compartment. Your license is in there. Your registration isn't in there. You get in an accident, your insurance card ain't in there. Don't have anything that you have to reach for in that glove compartment if that's what you're going to have in there. But even going back to stores, I don't know about y'all, even I still get nervous at self-checkout. Or sometimes I might scan something twice to make sure it's on their receipt.
I'm with you. Gas is the biggest one for me. Because you've never... At gas pumps where you can pay inside after you pump. So like you can use the gas pump before you even pay. I'm always leery that my card didn't actually, get scanned, right? And I'm actually pumping, but I got to pay afterwards, right? So I'll always push the little button to say, we want the receipt. And usually that part's not working on the gas pump. You got to go
to see
inside
the
anyway,
clerk.
right? So, but yeah, I always get a receipt, even when I go to McDonald's. They say, you want the receipt? Absolutely. And I use it. It's bad, but I use it for the same reason. If something happened and they say, Mr. Battle, where were you? I live alone, so I need an alibi. So sometimes when you don't have an alibi and you live alone, that could put you in harm's way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, especially being black.
I just did that, probably about a month ago. I went to Sheetz, got some coffee, and then went to work. Then when I got and checked my account when I got to work, the purchase never came out of my Wells Fargo. So I was like, let me wait a little bit. So after I waited a little bit, it had been like 3 hours had passed by. I was like, that Sheetz thing still ain't showing up. So I called her. I was like, yo, can I speak to a manager? And she's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, yo, I made a purchase at like 5:30 this morning, and I ain't get no receipt, but it was approved, but it ain't came out of my account yet. And she was like, oh, sometimes that happens, and just wait a couple of days. I'm like, I'm just making you aware. I'm gonna give you my name, I'm gonna give you my number. If it don't go through, I'll come back and pay you in cash if that's what it got to do. Because I don't want to be on WSCT. Have you seen this man who ain't paid for this coffee? But that's just something. That's just how our brain works. You know what I mean? Because especially in self-checkout, I want to make sure that when I get there, y'all ain't like that I skip that scan. No, I might have to get the lady to come over there and take that purchase off because I scanned it twice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is key. You would not be treated the same way your white friends are treated. We talked about this on this podcast before, how when you go to court, there's been research done, surveys done, census done, about how a white offender versus a black offender for the same crime in the same court under the same judge get total different punishment, where the black offender normally gets the lengthier sentence or the harsher consequences. That happens in our school system too. It happens, when if a white kid and a black kid do something similar, that a lot of times the black parents will say they're going to make an example out of you.
All the time.
You know what I mean?
It happened to Shaquan. It happened to him in school. He got into a fight, and the first time in the history of at least Liberty High School, they wanted to prosecute a student for having a altercation at school.
Yeah.
All the white kids that fought before him didn't get treated like that.
Yeah.
But they wanted to make an example out of him. My mom used to tell us when we first moved there from DC, my mom said, don't get in trouble doing what those white kids do.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be treated differently than you.
Mm-hmm.
So you do something that they do, they probably going to overlook the fact that they did it. They're not going to overlook your black ass. That's exactly what she told us.
Yeah.
They're not going to overlook your black ass.
They're going to make an example out of it. Yeah. It was a situation that I had to deal with a kid one time. Him and a white kid were in school, and they were looking up different guns. I guess the white kid was looking up hunting guns, and then the black kid was like, well, look up this gun and look up that gun. And the black kid ended up getting in trouble. And the white kid didn't get in trouble because he was looking up hunting guns, but the black kid was looking up different types of guns. Mm-hmm. And that's the conversation that I had to have with him. Like, he can do that. You can't. A white kid can come to school and accidentally leave their hunting gun in the car. Mm-hmm. You let a black kid leave a gun in the car or think that they have a weapon on them, they might call SWAT. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's two different treatments. You know what I mean?
What Lee Dawson say? Different strokes for different folks.
Different folks.
And that goes back to why our grandmother wouldn't let us play with toy guns.
Oh,
we couldn't. We brought a toy gun to her house. Oh, it was getting thrown in the trash.
No water gun, no cap gun, doesn't even look like a gun.
But in her defense, though, the guns that we did have, they did look real.
They did look real. And Tamir Rice was the exact case of why that is. Because, you can be outside and you playing cops and robbers, and somebody might call the cops and say, hey, they out there with guns. You know what I mean?
Plus, my mom used to think that you get comfortable with that. You get comfortable aiming, even if it's a toy gun, you get comfortable aiming that gun at people, right? Pointing it at people. And eventually you're going to get a real gun and you're already going to be comfortable when aiming it at people. And she didn't want that.
Yeah.
She wasn't having it on her watch.
Oh, no. That gun came over there. It was going in the trash.
Sir. She didn't care who paid for it, how much it cost. It's going in the trash. She didn't.
I had a nice one that I took over there one time. I mean, that.
You talking about the little silver one?
Yeah. Oh, man. It even opened up to like when you could put the caps in there.
It looked good in the trash, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, man.
In the trash can. Yeah, it looked good.
Boy, Trey, let me see that. They ain't never see that again.
She ain't play that.
This is something I actually just had to tell our little cousin. You know, if you live in a predominantly white neighborhood and want to exercise, don't run with your hood on. You know what I mean? If you got visible headphones like the ones I got on right now, put those on. That way people can assume that you're exercising. Wave at people, just so they know you ain't running from somebody's house. You know, when you look at the Ahmaud Arbery situation, you know, that wasn't something that shocked black people. You know, that's one of those unwritten rules of running in a white neighborhood that you got to be cautious of. You know, I know it may sound ridiculous to white America, but living in a predominantly white neighborhood, you know, and they don't know you, you don't know them. They see a black person running in their neighborhood.
They did something.
Exactly. So if you don't know your neighbors and you want to exercise, you might want to get to know your neighbors first before you go exercise. You know, make sure they see your face when you ride by.
Me running up and down the street from time to time. I'm just exercising. Yeah. Right?
But blow your horn, let them stop and say, "Hey, how your day going?" Get to know them first. Don't just be running and they don't know who you is.
Some of these joints that you just know, like you know what they mean, but when you look them up and other people give you their meaning of them. It's just funny because like I said, when it's said, you automatically know what it means. But when you read it, it's just funny. Like, don't get in trouble following behind them white kids because they won't get in trouble. You will. It seems funny,
but it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Another serious one is, you know, especially with Black history, as a black man, never get on an elevator with a white woman alone. Always wait for the next one. Hey, you can go back to the Tulsa massacre. You can go back to Emmett Till being alone with the white woman. You know, there's history in black history where towns were burned and hundreds of people lynched just because of an accusation that a white woman made against a black man. So getting on that elevator, and that elevator ain't got no cameras in it. You might want to wait for the next one, bruh.
Yeah.
Just to be cautious.
Just to be cautious.
Because last thing you want is somebody making an accusation that you said something or did something or whatever the case may be. To eliminate it, don't even get on there.
This one was big for me. Because in school, if you make a bad grade, you go tell your parents, like, everybody fell in that class. And I remember mom telling me, I'm your mama. I'm not everybody else's mama.
Yeah.
Or we had I was at a sleepover, and I ain't gonna say the person's name, but his parents never came in his room. And I was like, yo, that's dope. So I went home and I was like, Mom, such and such don't go in such and such room. She was like, I ain't such and such mama. And here you don't own no room anyway. You don't own the damn thing here.
Right. Yo, watch it. You just live it.
Yeah. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. And we are back. Go to YouTube, type in My Unapologetic Perspective, Facebook, My Unapologetic Perspective, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. But y'all was talking off air. But the one that killed me, that never made any sense to me, was remind me to whoop your ass when we get home. Why would I do that?
Yeah. Oh, and before I say this, I'm going to say that I believe that I had the greatest parents in the world. They loved us. We loved them. But some of the things that my dad used to say to us, hey, Dad, I love you, man. But I remember being out somewhere and doing something, you get out and you think you could get away with certain things because they're not going to beat you in public, right? My dad said, we get in the car and said, ooh, wait till we get home. Wait till we get home. You know, it's on when we get home, Jack.
They don't forget either.
No. And my love you, Dad. My dad's left-handed, right? So I don't know if you ever got a whooping with somebody that's left-handed. It comes from the wrong angle, right? So
I used to try to go last when it came to a whooping because it was usually when we got whooped, it was all of us as a group, right? So going last, you thinking
they tied.
Yeah.
My dad was in shape. My dad didn't get tired. That nigga was in
Or
shape.
you may want to go first because you know she thinking it's 3 more of y'all left. So I can't waste all my energy on the first one.
My dad was in shape my entire childhood, Jack.
Like this would say, fix your face.
Before I fix it for you.
You got to look on your face that she is taking as disrespect. Go ahead and fix it before she threatens to fix you.
Of course, you know, you got I'm not one of your little friends.
Yep. And don't show off in front of your friends.
Yeah, I'm not one of your little friends.
Your friends.
But again, like, it's funny, but there's a message behind it because you don't talk to adults the same way you talk to your peers. And a lot of times, a lot of kids, you know, they talk to their friends a certain way, and you think that's the way you communicate to adults. And you got to put some respect on that.
Right. I think y'all heard that from me before too. Is I ain't one of your friends.
Yeah.
When you sending me messages, text messages or whatever. I ain't one of your friends.
You put that in a complete sentence for me.
That's right.
Hey, dude, stay out of grown folks' business. This is simply a warning, not to chime in or even appear to be eavesdropping on an adult conversation. This one always boggled my mind because I'm not sure how I'm going to stay out of the grown folks' business when I'm sitting right here.
Stay out of it.
Even though you listen.
But you better not chime in and better not repeat it.
Like the judge tell the jury, disregard what you heard in that last
That's right.
Disregard that.
My mom had a couple that was, you hear us say them even today. Eugene and Alvin are saying, my mom used to say, you give a reason for something. My mom would say, what they got to do with the price of tea and coffee, right? That don't amount to a hill of beans, right? Here's the one that made me start reading. My mom said to me one day, stop acting so facetious. And she said it in front of a lot of people. And I didn't want to seem stupid, so I didn't ask what that meant. I went and got the dictionary and I asked Alvin, I was like, how do you look up a word that you don't know how to spell? And he was like, you sound it out. So we opened up the dictionary, sounded it out, and we found facetious. So we could know what it meant.
Yeah.
But that's why I started reading. I really started reading books after she said that. Stop acting so facetious.
Do I look like Boo Boo the Fool?
Boo Boo the Fool.
You know, black parents will let you know that they have experience and that whatever you trying to get over on them, they already did it. They ain't Boo Boo the Fool. Don't know who Boo Boo the Fool is, but they know who Boo Boo the Fool is.
You just know it ain't your mama.
And now, you know, we grew up in D.C. and I'm a 70s child. I was born in 1969. Alvin and Eugene before me. So we grew up in the 70s. So my dad would say things like, nigga, I will knock you smooth. That means I'll knock your ass out. And he wouldn't say, years later, he would say, you understand what I'm saying? Prior to that, he would say, you dig? You dig what I'm saying, man? So, yeah, so all those terms stuck in our heads as kids, right?
Especially the Ma used to say, I was born at night, not last
night.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Or let's go to yours. Cause I'm gonna be honest, when I try to look up ones from dad, it won't none from dad. That means dad just would go along with mama say. But yours was you could choose to sell drugs.
Oh yeah.
But you're gonna have to fight me and your uncles every time you see me. And I promise you, every time I get off work, I'm coming to where you selling the drugs.
One of my favorites. I hope you know the schoolwork like you know them songs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
lyrics like that, right?
Yeah, we focused just as hard as we did on rap lyrics and on basketball and on sports and video games. Boy, we would be killing it in school.
Those things were fun though. School wasn't fun.
I laugh every time because sometimes when I talk to Cameron, he repeats some of those stupid sayings that I used to say, like "Yepper Depper Dr. Pepper, Doper Doper Mr. Roper."
Them are joints right there.
Oh, the other one is I'm gonna make it burn when it's my turn. I'm gonna make it hurt when I go to work.
I make it sting when I do my thing.
You smelling yourself?
Smelling yourself. Yeah.
That's our NS right there. You smelling your pee, ain't you? That means you're getting grown white people, if y'all know what that means.
Facts. That's another thing, man. If you say something to a black parent and it's actually correct in what you're saying, the response isn't going to be you're correct. The response is, oh, you getting smart. Oh, you think you grow.
Who you think you talking to? You can't win with those.
Yeah.
That's why you will never win an argument against your parents, because they're going to pull that one out. Who you think you talking to?
Talking to?
But I know this is funny, but do you think it's traumatizing sometimes that black parents don't know how to apologize?
No. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Apologize for what? I mean, do you go to your mom and dad and say thank you for not dropping me on my damn head when I was a child? You know what I'm saying? Do you go to them and say thank you for not getting an abortion? You know, so I ain't apologize. What am I apologizing for? Did you eat?
Yeah.
You ate, didn't you? What I'm apologizing for? No, I ain't apologizing.
So the apology after a black parent whoop you is, the food in here ready for you whenever you're ready to eat.
Now the apology was, this gonna hurt me more than it hurt you. That was the apology, to let you know, yeah, I'm gonna put it on you.
That apologize. Mom's joint was, do you know why you got your ass whooped?
Apology. See you tomorrow.
Then the famous one though, you pull up to the grocery store, you happy to go in there, and then you feel a tug on your shirt. And you turn around and she right here. Don't you touch shit when we get in the store. Don't ask for nothing.
Nothing.
Walk in front of me means as soon as you walk in front of me, I'll hit you upside your back of your head.
I now understand why she would say don't touch nothing, because as kids, you sometimes will forget to put stuff back.
Yeah, have something in your pocket.
Some of the traditions that get passed on too. I remember I would make you tie his shoe. What do you do now?
Big bully ties his shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, the big one though, I hated this one when we was in high school, was whatever you had to tell Bake, you would get me to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
The big one that a lot of school teachers still don't understand is, you know, if someone hits you first, you hit them back. You know, ain't nobody going to come and telling you if somebody hit me. We about to throw down.
That was kind of a tough one for us when we was kids, because my dad kind of was the opposite. He was like, if you feel like it's a fight, you want to get that first one off. You need to get that first one off, Jack.
I ain't send you to school to start shit, but you damn sure better finish. That's the first thing black parents ask when you tell them you've been in the fight. They'll ask you, is you okay? Did you win?
Did you win?
Did
you win?
As black kids in school, not even at school, if you just dealing with white people and they ask you what your name is, you go ahead and give them your nickname, or you go ahead and just spell it out for them. Yeah, because you about to butcher this. You about to butcher this.
Yeah, that's not gonna go. That's just gonna make you even more mad.
If I'm on the phone with somebody and they were like, "What's your first name?" I'm like, "Let me go ahead and spell it for you. M-A-R." No, I didn't even go say it because you go ask how to spell it. Start running in and out of my house. Mm-hmm. Even though I don't know what that exactly means. Well, I guess if you got the AC
on, the AC or the heat on, you letting it out, running in and out. Right. So
I thought this was good. It said summer was all about choices that mostly included you trying to figure out when it was or wasn't worth risk getting locked in or out of your home. Your parents were very clear that they wasn't paying to cool the indoors and the outdoors.
Facts. Mm-hmm. But there's some other big things that I believe that white America, white parents don't have to deal with, like black parents. Number one is if you got black boys, well, you're starting to see a little bit more now. You start to see a lot of white kids go to black barbershops now. Cheney has a load of different type of people coming into the barbershop, but you know, black parents, you know, you go to the barbershop every 2 weeks. You know, some some white kids back in the day, they wouldn't get their hair cut but like every few months, you know. But for us, we got our hair cut every 2 weeks, you know.
And nowadays you see the kids go in there and get whatever they want to. We didn't have a choice. You got a ball fade.
Oh yeah, because that was something that was going to take 2 weeks to grow back.
Right. Much like when you get home from school, go in there and take them clothes off, because
school clothes off.
Most black parents couldn't afford for you to go out there and mess up good clothes.
Especially the shoes.
Good shoes.
Yeah.
You know, black parents, they got to do black girls' hair every morning, every day. Yep. You know, that's a task, especially you heard the way a black girl get cussed out from not holding her head straight when a black parent trying to comb that head. But, you know, Denzel talked about this, how, you know, a lot of people don't, it's not a race thing, it's a culture thing.
It's culture.
You know, how a lot of white people don't understand what the smell of a hair comb smell like on the stove. That's right. You know, that's a black culture thing. You know, you understand that smell. You talked about this, but in a black household, not only do you not lock no doors, you don't close no doors. There's no privacy in the black household.
Except in the bathroom. And if you abuse that, you lose that
They
privacy.
got to know what you doing, when you doing it, and who you doing it with. And I, as a parent, I do it sometimes too. And sometimes with Lyric on the phone, I put the TV on mute. Let me see what the hell they talking about.
Yeah. Dump that book bag out. Empty that book bag right here on this bed.
One of our little cousins was over the house, and he told Boogie, he was like, "Let's go in your room." And I looked there and said, "What room he got? He don't pay no bills here."
Another good one that I know our parents instilled into us. You better not answer with huh or what. You know, that's that manners thing. It better be ma'am or sir. Yes. That huh or what, that ain't gonna cut it. I still do it to this day. I mean, I'm grown, and there are people I work with that's only a few years older than me. Ma'am, like that's just how I was raised. You know, you don't say no huh, no what.
Don't what me.
And you bet if she call you from another room, you bet not huh or what. She ain't call you for you to yell back. She called for you to come in.
Yo, answer. My daughter struggled with that.
And I don't know why every black parent, they got their drink in the house that you don't supposed to touch. Nope. So you got other drinks, and then you got that Pepsi or that Dr. Pepper that ain't for you to drink. That ain't yours. When that kitchen is closed. It's like a restaurant. If you don't eat when it's time for everybody else to eat, your ass gonna go hungry.
You ask a black parent, "Can I have some of that?" God damn, I can't have nothing of my own.
And then of course you get that speech before you go to somebody else's house to an event. You know, don't ask if somebody can come here and stay, and you ain't staying at nobody else's house.
I don't know if y'all went through this. I know we did when we was kids, but did y'all's mom ever tell you make sure you put on clean drawers? Yeah, that was my mom's big thing, man. Make sure you put on some clean drawers.
Hey, when you get over there, sit your ass down. When it's time to leave, ain't nobody spending
the night. Don't get over there acting like you hungry, like you ain't ate. Like don't nobody feed your ass at home. I seen one on TikTok. It was when you at a cookout and you ask the kid what they want to eat, they either get hamburger or hot dog. You can't say you want a steak. The steak is for grown people. And then he said, you want a hamburger, a hot dog, or an ass whooping? Which one you want?
Yeah, you better eat here because I ain't cooking when I get home.
Man, black parents are poetic, man.
Oh, the big one is ain't nobody got McDonald's money.
Ain't nobody got McDonald's money. But you know, black parents, they got that poetry to them. You know, you tell them my head hurt. Well, that ass gonna hurt if you don't clean that room up.
We witty.
You always take something, and you know. I'm playing the game. I'm playing with that belt.
Whatever you do too much is the cause of it. I got a headache. You on that damn phone too much. That's why. My back hurting. You sit somewhere else, always on that damn phone, your back wouldn't be hurt.
Oh man. It ain't nothing.
Ibuprofen fix everything.
Ibuprofen. You going to sleep with Vicks rubbed on your chest all night. Because you going to school tomorrow. Ain't no
that was a setup, right?
If you was sick the night before, I already let you know. In the morning, you going to school.
Yeah, don't try that. Yeah. He's out there playing all evening. Yeah. You don't feel
your
good.
Damn head won't hurt when you was outside playing that basketball.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yo, I love black parents.
It ain't nothing worse than a black parent that don't know the answer that try to help you with their homework. Right? They try to help you with their homework and they don't know the answer, and then they get mad at you for not knowing the answer. You know what I'm saying?
Then y'all go over this in class.
Y'all go over this in class. Let you get an answer wrong. Your ass could be right. You can put you in there with them damn slow kids. Then everybody gonna be calling you dumb.
Yeah, your mom was tough. She'll tell y'all, I don't need to know the answer. I don't need to know the answer. You wouldn't need to know the answer.
You don't want everybody gonna be calling stupid. Once they hold your ass back.
You gonna be looking dumb as hell when you sitting in the same grade. Like, yo, how is this supposed to help me?
I just need help with my homework. I just need help with if Johnny had 3 apples. That's the only thing I need help with.
But I tell anybody to say, because I write like a girl, and everybody tell me, oh, you write like a girl, and I tell them it's because in school when you had vocabulary words, you had to write sentences. Mom would make you erase the whole sentence if it was sloppy. So I got tired of erasing the whole sentence. And I just got good handwriting.
She used to rip my papers up. Can't nobody read that shit. My handwriting still ain't no better. Like you're not making it any better.
Oh man.
Can't anybody read that?
Black parents, I agree with Bates. Black parents owe all of their kids an apology. We turned out great, yes, but we traumatized. Like old Pootie Tang when he went with his friend to they was gonna steal the fruit, and then the bubble came out, and Pootie Tang seen the belt hit his hand, and he was like,
You relax sometimes, man. Relax.
It worked, right?
Yeah.
It worked.
But the funniest is you got the black moms, right? So the black moms, they usually say something first. And if you ain't listening, that's when they go get the black daddy. He come in like he the closer for the Yankees or some shit.
He the enforcer.
So what your mama tell you to do? Yeah. Oh, so you think you running shit, huh?
That's it. Just doing my job. That was my enforcer. That's right.
Come in like he the closer for the Yankees.
Man. He want you to repeat back to her what she told you.
And she already repeating what she told him. I already told her.
We want to make sure that you understood the instructions. So when you repeat it back to me, that means you understood. You chose not to do it, right? Yeah.
Repeat it back to me.
Let me know you understood it. Tell me what she told you.
So that means you think you grown, huh?
That's right.
So all of this shit right here you paid for.
Yeah.
Go on, let me get the game.
Oh, you want to leave? Go ahead and leave, but don't pack none of that shit that I'm
bought. None of that. Don't take nothing. And don't call when you're hungry and want to come back either.
Oh, man.
Now, I remember I ran away one time to the end of the block. I came back, my dad said, I thought that nigga ran away. What's that nigga doing back in here? Yeah. You ain't run nowhere.
Oh, man.
Oh, don't forget to take that chicken out.
Yeah. Oh, they call from work when they on their break from work. Make sure you take that meat out the freezer. My damn house better be clean when I come home. Oh, man.
Been at work all day, gotta come home and clean up. Y'all kids are here just laying around.
Hey, it still works because I still deep clean every Saturday morning. God, when she had that R&B play and clean it up.
But now, do you find yourself doing the exact same
all
thing
of the same
stuff,
playing the same music,
saying the same stuff? But there is some things I do differently.
Yeah, y'all do some dialogue that we didn't do.
Yeah, me and my daughter, we definitely have dialogue.
Yeah, tell me why you did that. See, y'all do a lot of that. We didn't. I ain't had time for all that. I don't need to know why. Right? Yeah, you did it because you wanted to. We know that. We already got that.
Yeah. But we gotta have some conversations.
Oh man, I remember when cell phones. Oh my goodness. When cell phones first came out, this nigga had a cell phone bill. Who the fuck was he talking to? Cell phone bill, $800.
Run him up.
Run him up.
I think I know I would have said to you. I said, you said fuck me. That's what you said, right? I gotta pay it, right? Yeah, killing me, man.
Oh man.
Oh my god. So, and that was parents. That's another big one. Yo, if you gonna text me, I'm not your friend. Don't text that slang shit. Text so somebody can read it.
Mom used to say, "Don't even text me. Call me. What the hell you want?
What you texting?
What the hell you texting for?"
That number 2 for the word 2. Number 4. I delete that shit. You get my text? Nope.
Nah, it was. I had to have this conversation with Sonny. I remember you had it with me. I think I was 16. I was working at Walmart. I asked you, could you pick me up at 10 o'clock? It was like 10:15. I was in Subway. Came to the car, opened the door, and you said, I thought you said you got off at 10. I was like, I did. I was in Subway. Nah, listen. When you want to ride and you say you get off at 10, have your ass out here at 10. You the one need to ride, not me.
Oh man. But yeah, that's some universal stuff, man. I know a lot of things that we said. It applies.
Do us a favor. Put in the comments what y'all parents used to say to y'all.
It's probably the same stuff, especially for black parents. It's the same stuff, man.
Oh man, none was worse than when you would get your ass beat and everybody that would call in that
goodness.
hour, she would tell, none just got finished whooping these kids' ass. Like
that was 5 hours ago.
Everybody else.
5 hours ago.
Damn kids get on my nerves.
Don't let the school call. She'll hold anything you want to tell me before they tell me.
It got to a point when y'all got to high school, they wouldn't even call her no more. They would call me. Like that woman would come out and she take you outside from the very beginning. Now she didn't take you outside when she talked to y'all at home.
The black parents, they'll take your side in front of the teachers. Well, who else was doing it?
That's
right.
That.
But as soon as they get home, did I tell you?
Yep. They take your side in public, but you get home, ooh wee. But they take your side in public.
Me and Bake got smart, Junior. I don't know if I should say it. We got smart junior and senior year. On his emergency card, he put my phone number on mine. I put his phone number.
We got smart too because we stopped snitching on each other and start like if you got in trouble, we'd be like, man, don't worry about it, man. That
yeah, we realized we were better together, yo.
Try to make us feel bad.
Yeah. Oh, and then 2 big ones. One was when we didn't know how to get along, we couldn't go nowhere. Y'all ain't going nowhere until y'all learn how to be brothers. Y'all gonna be I still use that to this day. Y'all gonna be brothers forever. But and then the other one was because our curfew was midnight when we got older. If you wasn't there at midnight, I don't understand why mom would leave her bed with the phone beside it, come in there and tell me Baker still ain't here yet. Nah, call him and tell him I said get his ass here. Now me being who I am, I wouldn't call. So she would wait till 12:30. Did you call Baker? Yeah, he ain't answer. Call his ass again. And I remember this one night, we were supposed to be home at midnight, and she called and was like, where y'all at? We was like, we're on the way home, but we was in McDonald's drive-thru. It was like 1:30. She was like, y'all ain't on no way damn home. I'm sitting here looking at y'all. we at the other house.
Oh, man, we used to...
So my dad had a rule, right? He go to bed at 8 o'clock, right? So we're adults. Me and Gene, we go, I don't know where we went. We went somewhere and we were in D.C. and we called Dad and was like, we're going to stop by. And he was like, okay, just remember, I'm going to bed at 8 o'clock. Okay, no big deal. So we went to a go-go. I don't know where we went. We went somewhere, but we didn't get there until later. It wasn't a go-go. Wherever we went, it wasn't like after midnight or nothing, but it was like 10 o'clock. It was after 8. And we got there, and we could see my dad on the inside. We ring the doorbell. He didn't even look at the door, right? So the next morning, we called him, said, Dad, we came by. He said, I know. Said, I told y'all I go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So whatever you was doing, it took you past 8 o'clock, right? He said, that's where your ass need to be. So if you wanted to see me, should have been there before 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
He had a rule, and it was what it was. Didn't matter who you were. We was his kids.
Yeah.
Okay, I told you 8 o'clock. You know?
But that's also big because with like what you said, how you called them and told them, like that's big too in the black community. Like black kids, even if you gonna break curfew or whatever the case may be, you still need to call and let them know where you are. Like that's like one of the most important things. Let them know where you are.
Yeah, and you know, you're right, and I know we're making this podcast fun, but we talked about.
But it's meaning behind it.
There's meaning behind it, and what we're talking about when you're calling somebody and you're letting them know what's going on. One of the biggest missing persons cases in this area was the Alexis Murphy.
Yeah,
and the biggest issue with that, well, of course, she was ended up murdered, but at the beginning of the process, because she didn't tell people where she was truly going, they lost like 12 hours in searching for her because they was looking for her in an area she was never in.
Yeah.
So calling and being honest about where you are, you know, not saying, you know, I'm in Roanoke and you're really in Richmond.
Yeah.
But being honest about what you are, but letting somebody know where you are and what you're doing. That's important.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young. But and I hate to make this gender bias, but especially if you're a female.
Oh yeah.
You know, you need to let somebody know where you are, because it's happening to black women at a high rate, a very high rate. The other thing is we don't get the same attention that white America gets when we go missing. Mm-hmm. So that means when you go missing before it goes public, it's gonna be a while. And we know the first 48 hours are crucial. Mm-hmm. Well, most of the time the public doesn't know about it until 72 hours, if that. Mm-hmm. So we're already behind when it comes to that. So some of these things we're laughing and joking, but contacting somebody, especially your parents, and letting them know where you are and what time they can expect you.
Right.
That's important.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick lunch break. We'll be right back to close up. And we are back. We're going to wrap this up. There's some few things that I do differently as a parent. I remember when our little brother got a whooping one time, and I grabbed him to shield him from the whooping. And then Mom had basically was like, you know, when you get older and you get kids, you discipline how you want to discipline. I've never laid a hand on my daughter.
That ain't true.
I've never laid a hand on my daughter.
That's true. I meant as far as when you get your own kids, you parent like that shit ain't true.
But like I said, a lot of my parenting style come from my parents, and that's just the universal way of we pass things down from generation to generation. Things that I say subconsciously, and I'm like, nah, I'm starting to sound like mom and dad now. You know what I'm saying? Because like you've heard it so many times that it's now become a part of what you do. And that's just the universal black parenting.
Yeah, one of the things that I do different is I give my kids an opportunity to tell me why they did it. Their understanding behind it, because their understanding behind it might have been they might have thought they was having good intentions doing it, or they didn't understand why they couldn't do it. So that's one of the things that I do differently is I try to see where they coming from, and I don't whoop mine either. Now I do yell. I do that.
I'm also silent in sports on the sideline. Thanks to him.
I can't do that.
Because he was so hard on me. So now I just try to encourage him. I don't even try to break him down with it. So even with him, he get on my niece and my nephews, and then I'll try to encourage him because I'm like, sometimes he get carried away.
Hey, Slim, what are you doing? I ask them quick in the middle of the game, what are you doing?
But there's still a lot of black parenting balance too. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes, you know, mom would get on us and our stepdad would come in there and be like, listen, she ain't telling you to do a whole lot. Just do the shit. Just do the shit.
Right.
That way I ain't got to hear about it.
It came through a little easier when he told us. Oh, that's what she meant. Okay, all right. Minus all the cuss words. That's what it means.
Do the shit so I ain't got to keep hearing it.
Yeah. So we can't get an apology.
No, because you guys had it easy because you really only have
God damn.
You only had 2 rules. Listen, you have 2 rules.
Yeah, right.
Do what you're supposed to do and don't do what you're not supposed to do. 2 rules. That's it. Y'all can't do that. You can't follow 2 rules.
Well, he could. I could.
Apology.
What really pissed me off with him is he would get on you, and while he get on, he would do that little like, stop, bro.
Like, do you realize you tapping me right now?
Like, I get it, bro. Like, I get it.
But now the 2 important things that you gave us that really stuck with both of us, because I've heard both of us tell the younger kids in our community the same thing is, number 1, you don't disrespect your mom. And number 2, you never let anybody else disrespect your mom, because once they see you do it, they're going to think it's okay for them to do it.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. So,
Absolutely.
with everything we talked about, I know some of it is funny because you've heard it 1,000 times, and black parents got a witty way of saying things, but it comes from black history, it comes from black culture, and it comes from trying to make our kids, our younger generation, understand that we have to be hard on you, because living in America, in the history of America, that they gonna be even harder on you. The one of the main ones, a hard head make a soft ass. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't just come with getting a whooping. We understand that, if you go to school and get in trouble, they're going to make an example out of you. If police get on you, they're going to make an example out of you. When you get in front of the judge, he's going to make an example out of you. That hard head make a soft ass, and those consequences is going to start to really, really kick your behind at the end of the day. So, like, again, we wanted to let our hair down a little bit in this episode, but there's meaning behind what we just said. You know what I mean? But we love y'all. Peace.